All right, everybody, welcome back to our Training Day podcast. I got my man Bowen Sweeney, who absolutely cold crushed 2023 with his life insurance agency, Never Settle. Clearly, the name has a lot of meaning. I've watched you, Bowen, literally push this thing off the cliff and not be satisfied. And so I would have never said you never settled, but when it rolled off my tongue just now, and it was like, I get it. I literally am looking at it and going, man. And so it's amazing to watch what you've done, to watch what you're doing, to see the leaders you're building, and the idea that you guys are just getting started. Like you're not even moved by helping 34,000 families in a year. And just the idea behind that. So first off, it's an honor to have you on the podcast. Congratulations on an excellent year, upwards and onwards. But how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. And yeah, like you said, when you say never settle, like I think of it, but very, very seldom do I sit there and I let it sink in what I wrote when I picked my agency name. And it was like I picked my agency name and I wrote like, hey, we're going to be the Never Settle agency. It doesn't matter how much money we make, doesn't matter how many people we help. Like we're going to keep going. We're not going to be satisfied. We're not going to be some people that win games and just hang up the cleats or put it on the rack. We're going to keep it moving.
And so that you have, I was on your agency call about 2 months back, and I was reflecting upon a conversation we had. And at that time on my text, it was a year to the date. I don't remember the exact date, but we're probably 14 months away from that text. And the text was something like, how do you go from $1 million a month to $5 million a month, something like that. And so to see where you are right now, a year later, pushing the boundaries of that is impressive, man. A lot of people talk, bro. A lot of people have dreams and desires and goals, and a lot of people let find money or complacency or stuff going on in their personal life or stuff going on in their business life affect the overall trajectory of what they want to do, where they want to go, who they're going to lead, and you have not let that happen. And so what I want to talk to you about today is some of the things you've done, number one, from a recruiting standpoint, a development standpoint, and even a leadership development standpoint, including yourself. So why don't we start with, you just reflected on 2023 and what it is you saw take place.
Yeah. I look back and like for most people, that's good. For most people, that's great. For most people, it's awesome. But I sit there and reflect. I'm like, dude, there's a lot more that could have been done. And it starts with me and it starts with leadership, because leadership's what you allow. And I was sitting there when you were talking about like building something. I always remember like my name is tied to this. Like my name is tied to this. When they hear Mark Mead or they hear Bowen Sweeney, they're going to think one thing or two things, either an excuse agent or a doer agent. And that's all I wanted to be, is like, I know my name's tied to this. It's bigger than the money. It's bigger than everything that I could imagine. And I sit back and I reflect. We're on calls with people and we're like, hey, when you filled this out, were you looking to cover funeral plan arrangements, cover mortgage, leave behind a legacy? What were you trying to accomplish? And nobody really thinks on like leave behind a legacy. I sit here, I'm like, dude, I'm building a legacy for myself. How do I want to be known as a man? How do I want to be known as a leader? How do I want to be known as a friend? And that was last year for me. It was like the people in my circle, did they make me a better man? No. Then why are you in my circle? My leaders, do they push me? The people I'm working out with in the gym, do they push me? And I think that's been the biggest thing for me, is like putting myself in an environment where I can make a better product. And that was my sole focus last year, is like a lot of growing pains, a lot of adversity, but just embracing it and having a smile, like walking through hell with a smile on your face, be glad your legs are working. Like that was our mentality. And we figured out who wants to run with us. Not everybody's that crazy. And it's fun. We won't force them to do it, but we're going to find the ones that want to do it with us.
I love it. That just registered so well with me. Not everybody's that. Isn't it funny though? There's a point in your career at times, especially on a trajectory you've had, where you actually think everyone's that crazy. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
Where you had a
Way
bunch of
yeah.
hitters with you and you thought they were all as crazy as you?
Yeah.
And so, what was it that made you find out that, yeah, maybe not? And
Yeah.
you had to get to some point in your journey that you said it's okay, maybe not, and it's okay.
Yeah. So there's really only two reasons an agent fails, in my opinion, and from my experience. And it's either one, the leadership, the training, the resources, and I take all the pressure. So I'm gonna provide all that for you. And the other reason agents don't succeed here is they're not giving me enough time with them. There's nothing else. Like there's nothing else. Like maybe it takes you a little longer to figure it out. That's fine. Like I'm so confident in my ability to get people paid that, yeah, maybe I see it a lot more than you, but you give me 1 to 2 weeks with you, I'm going to tell you if you're going to go broke in this business or you're going to figure it out.
Hmm.
And it's not based on how you sound on the phones. It's not your talent. It's not your looks. It's not your persuasion ability. It's your ability to keep showing up on days you don't want to show up. It's your ability to keep learning. And if we're sitting here and I'm training with you, Mark, and 3 days later you're still struggling to learn the same, I'm like, dude, you're not putting enough time and you're not studying enough on your craft. Like I know how to sell. Selling's not the problem for me. I'm trying to get you to sell. I wish I had a USB I could plug it in my brain, plug it into your brain, and teach you everything I know. But that's what I'm trying to do in 1 to 2 weeks. So I think, yeah, not everybody's as crazy as I was in the beginning, but that was fine. I was going to find the people that trusted me, and I was going to build relationships, and I was going to put all the pressure on myself. And I always tell them like, if our job is to recruit you over here to make money, why would I sit on here and let you be average when we can coach excellence? Like, why would I
Hmm.
sit on here and let you sell 5, 10 grand a month when I could teach you how to do 30, 40, 50? And I have these real hardcore conversations with people because I'm like, dude, if you want to be mediocre, I could recommend you to a ton of mediocre agencies. That's not what we're trying to do here. We're trying to do big things. If you want to be a part of it, we're going to have to work our off. And I'm not sitting where I'm sitting and have the results that I have because I'm the most talented individual. It's because I was willing to outlast everybody. I was willing to outlast all the tough days, the adversity, the BS, the roll up. Like it didn't phase me. And then
Hmm.
once you get on the other side of that, you're like, dang, I could have handled more. I could have handled more adversity. I could have went through more stuff and I would still be grateful that I'm on the other side.
That's strong, dude. And you get again to a place where you realize, you know, the oxygen is thinner at the top, but when you have those people, they're invaluable. And because that message that you just relayed, it's going to reach people at every level. And so someone who's helping 10 families is going to help 20 based on that message. Someone who's helping 20 families is going to help 50. Someone who's doing 40 families is going to become a leader. And then there's going to be some people that are like, that's a little hardcore for me. Like I was just trying to, I was just trying to, pay some bills. Maybe take my dog to the vet every once a month. You know what I mean? Or get my dog groomed. And so I'm good with that, right? And so you're gonna have an agency full of everything at your scale, and that's what it is. So as you look at some of the things that y'all stayed with when it came to recruiting and that you're still doing today, what are the best methods that you're doing right now for recruiting?
I think removing I used to be big on selling highest commission, biggest company, baddest platform, but now it's like I just really want to connect with people.
Hmm.
If I'm going to be working with you every day, like I want to know like what are your values? What do you like? Were you an athlete? Were you not an athlete? What's some stuff you went through? And I think my main focus is like sending messages, but being intentional. The original copy and paste, it works for a starter, but then you got to get intentional with
Hmm.
people. And I think that's one thing I've been focusing on is like letting people know I care and then just being very transparent with them. Like I always say, Mark, maybe we don't really know each other too much because obviously we know each other, Mark, but maybe we don't know each other too much because we're on Zoom. And my goal is to build your trust through getting you paid and through the training.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to do that. And there's a lot of people in this world that say stuff and they don't mean it and they don't act on it. But that's one thing I pride myself in. Anything that comes out of my mouth, I'm going to do it. And you're going to find out from day one. If I say I'm going to do something, if I say I'm going to help you, I'm going to figure it out. And I think one thing that we can say on recruiting calls is like right now, this sounds like Wolf of Wall Street. These numbers, they seem crazy. It doesn't make sense. There's a bunch of young people making money. I get it. I was there. The biggest thing that we're going to do for you that's going to make it become real for you, we're going to teach you how to sell, but we're going to help you close your first deal. Because once you get that first commission slip for 30, 40 minutes of a presentation, you're going to sit there and you're going to start doing the math. You're going to be like, dang, that's how much I made in 30 minutes or an hour. What if I did that 10 times a day? What if I did that 10 times a week? What if I did that 10 times a month? And then you start really painting your own vision where early on I was trying to paint people's vision for them. Like you said, not everybody's crazy and wants to make a ton of money. I mean, a ton of money wasn't really the goal for me. Yeah, it was a byproduct of like my personal development, helping a lot of people. But now it's like I just want to get people to think different. I want people to not fall to the system and be like, hey, I have to do this. I have to be a slave to my employer. I have to keep showing up 9 to 5. I gotta clock in. I gotta clock out. I gotta ask my boss for time off. And I let people know, like, in order to not be in that system, we're gonna have to work extremely hard. And I tell them, like, I work harder for myself and harder than I ever have for myself because it's not like work for me. I'm building and creating everything and manifesting everything that I wanted in my life.
Mm.
And I think when we start getting real and we get people to let their guard down, it's just like the sales process. Like they may be stern and not open it up at first, and you crack a couple jokes, you get them loosen up, you let them know you're a real person, and then you sit there and figure it out. Because I can't help somebody make $1 million that only wants to make 100 grand,
Mm-hmm.
and you're not going to figure that out by pushing them. You're going to figure that out by intentional conversations.
Sure.
Like, what do you want to accomplish? And every single month, every single week, those goals change. So we get on daily and we go over, hey, what do you want to accomplish today? And we're being extremely intentional day by day, week by week, month by month. And then it compounds. And then their goals went from these small goals to these massive goals because they were getting these small wins that were compounding. They were getting results. And they're like, dang, dude, if I did this in a week, I could have big months. And I think that's the coolest part for me is watching someone like their light bulb kick on. Like it was me. I had like big vision, big goals, but I didn't have the system. And it was like once I was put in the system, I was glowing. I was like red hot. I was ready to roll. And that's the coolest thing for me is like when I got there's a new guy I've been working with, Jerry, and it's the coolest thing in the world because he's working part-time. He's out working people that are working full-time.
Mm.
And he starts getting a couple sales, and then I just hear how he's talking. He's carrying himself different. He's listening to podcasts every day. Now he's working out at 5 a.m. And like our goal is to make money, but our goal is like to develop ourselves to a leader that people want to follow.
Makes sense. And so you have that conversation, initial, second, third conversation, whatever it is on Zoom, is extremely transparent. And so it does create some ease for someone you know or someone you don't know. Because the reality is they're only on Zoom to make money. They're not on Zoom because of a relationship. They're not on Zoom because, it's 8 a.m. and they were supposed to show up. They're on Zoom because they want to make money. It evolves, but you're cognizant enough to know, hey, let's get you that first check. Let's get you that first deposit. And communicating like that. The Wolf of Wall Street analogy is amazing. I mean, because it's so real world. It feels crazy, Johnny. I got it. But look, let's just to me, that's so grounding. And it really does promote a winning, culture, with the very first person, like one by one. And so when you do that, and you've done that, and you start building, trust, And then you build people, you find the people that um, are crazy enough, that want to be, nonstop leadership and nonstop growth, you know. How do you identify those people?
I don't think I can find like, yeah, you can. I think they're diamond in the rough, but they can be created through leadership. I think of myself, like I was a very competitive athlete. I would work my ass off. Like I would grind, I'd show up early, stay late, but I was never like a vocal guy or a marketing guy. So nobody would have ever even known that I could be what I am today. And I think it's through systems and processes and relationships and having something that people want to be a part of. So one thing I like to do is work out with people, or we'll do group workouts. And we don't do it to torture them. We do it to figure out like, yo, you had two more push-ups left, you let off. Like, dude, you're quitting here, then it's easy to quit here. Then it's going to be easy to quit in the business. Then it's going to be
Mm,
easy to quit when you need a couple more dials. And I think just really, really getting to know people.
mm,
I'm big on like, if I don't know you, we're not going to work good together because you're not going to understand why I'm being so hard on you.
mm.
And that's what I want people to know. Like, we have to earn the right to be hard on people. We can't just be hard off the rip because we don't know what they're going through. And we want to come off the right way. And I wrote down because I was sitting there thinking I was waiting for the Zoom to load, and I had coaches that would inappropriately challenge people, and I wanted to appropriately challenge people to move them in
Mm.
the right direction. What I mean by that is like a coach, he doesn't know you, you're a brand new guy, you moved all the way away from your family, and then he just starts ripping you a new one from day one, and you're like, do we have no relationship? And I would watch it push kids out of my school. And I'm like, dang, dude. I was like, I don't want to be that guy. So it's like, build the relationship, let them know why you're going to be hard on them, let them know why you want to win games. And I think once you have that relationship, people are willing to go through the lengths and through the adversity with you.
That's so good, bro. I think with technology, with voice, like the ability to voice something and get a response, with AI, I see more and more microwave thoughts. And I think the challenge, Bowen, is what you're saying. You can't microwave a big business. You can't do it, right? I mean, people keep trying. Let's microwave. Let's put it in for a minute and a half. It'll come out hot, piping hot. Bro, I love the microwave as an aid. I don't want to put. I'm not trying to put toast in the microwave. It's going to be a brick. Um, can you speak a little bit to? You're talking about hardcore building relationships, spending time, investing time, connecting with people, getting to know people, grassroots, bootstrapping kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You're building a massive organization. I talked to some other people that are telling me about speed and technology and chatbotting and all these recruiting engines, and I don't see them with big businesses. And I'm not saying these things don't work, because I know they do in moderation. And so, what is your take on what you're saying and using some of this stuff? Because we're not remiss. We live in the world. This stuff is going forth. We should be using this stuff in our business practice. How are you utilizing some technology today in conjunction with the mindset of relationships?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's great. The way my brain works is kind of old school, and it's not like the ZipRecruiter, all that stuff, the LinkedIn. Like, I've done it all. And then the funny thing is, what the turning point for me was, I had a recruiter call me, and I got on the phone. I was like, I'm gonna hear you out. Like, I'm always trying to learn something. And he's like, we can recruit you X amount of guys every single month. And I'm like, what makes you think you can out recruit me? He's like, well, we have this service. We're sending these messages. We're doing this. I said, yeah, but do you know the business better than I do? And he's like, well, we can bring your guys. I'm like, at the end of the day, do you know it better than I do? Do you know what I went through? Do you know how to translate what I went through to get to where I am? Because if you're just pitching it like it's a corporate job, it's not a corporate job. Like, this is like a career to change your life if you take it serious. And I think you guys aren't as good at relaying that information to people as I am. So like, I took it, I was like, dude, listen, If you recruit all month, like you can recruit them to another team, doesn't matter. I'll recruit all month and we'll match up and we'll see who's actually right and who's selling, who's growing, who's developing. And he did it. He didn't want to take me up on the offer. He's like, dude, if you don't want to do this, then don't do it. And I'm sitting there like, dude, I'm always down for a little competition that'll push me a little more. Like this will be fun. But then I'm sitting there and I see people that are paying 2, 3, 4, 5 grand a month for like recruiting services, and they're great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to bash anything like that. But I'm sitting here like, if I would just spend a little more time on it and develop my skill like I did in sales, I could close a lot more people. Like I'm not the best recruiter. I think I'm very good at connecting with people where I connect so much that they don't think I'm making the money I'm making. And it's good. It's fine. That's what I want them to think. I don't want them to think like I have an ego or the money changed me. The money changed me in the right direction in a sense, like I'm confident teaching people how to get the same thing I got. And so I think that the tech is great for me right now. It doesn't make sense. My goal is to duplicate a lot of people like myself where we're getting extremely intentional on the conversation. And we have a chat, like if we just got a new office. If you went into D Neely's office from January to, what is it, 11 days in, you look at his pipeline, he's the only one sending messages. He has 20 people direct in his pipeline. He hadn't been in sales before. He's never been in insurance before. We played college football together in Arkansas. Like we were the two biggest idiots you ever met. But we're gonna spend the time. We know what we're good at. We know what we're not good at. We know if we're not good at something, we got to put effort and work and energy there. So that's like my take on it. I mean, I wouldn't, like, if it's working for you, do it, but don't be afraid to figure it out through sweat equity.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Is it working for you? Keep doing it. I mean, I think the hard part is I don't see it working for a lot of people, and that's my point. You know, the conversation relationship, you can't beat it. I mean, this is a purebred relationship business. You know what I mean? And so I love it, dude. I register with that big time, but you're doing the work. You know, you're doing the work. I'm going to, you know, hope that people listen to this podcast and understand, like, you didn't get really big, and you have a very big business now, but you didn't get really big by not doing the work, by automating the work. You really can't automate the work because the work is what you're saying. That's what's pure about this this episode. The work is what you're saying. You are talking about working out with people, relating to people, connecting with people, sharing what you've been through, sharing what they've been through, building relationships. We can't, if you and I don't have a relationship, then I'm not going to be able to work with you because you're not going to understand why I'm being so hard on you. But I'm being hard on you so we can win games. But I can't come out the gate that way. I got to earn that. Dude, that is our business. I don't know when that changes. It's like trying to go DTC with the clients. Yeah, there's some clients who are going to buy online. But the vast majority of clients are looking to not press send. So what they need is somebody who can relate the actual product to their family situation. It's actually the greatest part of our business, Bowen. And you're reminding me of how pure it all is. And so I appreciate that. When you think about some of the guys and girls that are crazy enough to do what you're doing, build the relationships, build it big, work nonstop, never settle, you know, those people in your business got there and you guys are running together in a pack. What is keeping that bond and what is keeping them wanting to continue to never settle?
Yeah. That's a loaded question. I was thinking last night, I was literally laying in bed just talking with Bree, and I was getting emotional. I was like, dude, what we have is special. Like the culture, the people. Like I am so mother effing proud of everybody in our business and everything they've went through and how much value they add. And I think it maybe I'd mentioned it on your podcast before, but it's like I'm not the head honcho. I'm not like the number one guy that's leading this. Like if we all walked in the room, you wouldn't even know who runs Never Settle. Like if all our leaders walked in there, and it's because We empower people to be leaders from day one. We empower people that we're all on the same dang level. You're not my downline, upline, like none of that stuff even plays a toll in this. We're business partners. So you expect a lot out of me, I'm gonna expect a lot out of you. And that's like the same energy we kept from day one. And I think if we remain in that state, it allows us to work way more effectively together. So we have this accountability chat every morning. You got to send a text like, did you work out? Yes. Did you listen to a podcast or read? Did you work on personal development? Okay, awesome. We got to do that before our day even starts, because how are we going to lead people? And I think at the end of the day, people, they want to build a big business, but they recruit people and they forget why they recruited them. You're like, I recruited you, jump on the Zoom, like I'll be on later. Like, let's just try to figure it out, try to listen in, try to learn something. You're like, dude, you recruited them. Why are you not showing them what to do?
Mm.
That's one thing I say is like, dude, if I recruit you, I'm gonna show you I'm gonna work. Like I'll be the last one in here. I'll be the last one on. I'll be the first one on with you. I'll be the last one on.
Mm.
I'm gonna figure out how bad you want it. The first week it's gonna be hell week. Like we're gonna put in as many hours as many hours we have to work. We're gonna put them in so you have a foundation to fall back on when it gets tough. And I'm always talking about that. People say, yeah, you're gonna make a lot of money. Like it's gonna be so easy. I'm like, dude, you can make a lot of money, but it's bigger than that. Like you're going to be proud of the person you become month after month, day after day. If you keep putting in the work, you trust the process, we're going to steer you in the right direction. If you keep showing up, you keep putting in the time, yeah, you're going to make some money and you're going to live a pretty good life. But that's only as consistent as you want to. It's only as consistent as you are in the business.
Mm.
And like these people, they want. I'm big on. I understand everything's temporary. Everything I have right now is temporary. So it's like, is my life good? Yeah, as consistent as I keep putting in the work. Will my life get tough? Yeah, if I stop putting in the work. And I think that's what people don't understand. It's like, boom, I got this. I got the nice house, the nice cars. I'm good. I'm going to kick my feet up. And it's like, no, dude, like if you want to consistently have a good life, we got to consistently put in work. We got to consistently develop ourselves. We got to consistently grow. And I think that's what people want to be a part of. I came from a company where people get to a certain threshold and they're like, dude, I'm good. I can't help you. I'm in Cabo, or I can't help you. I'm here. I can't help you. I'm here. And I'm like, dude, I would be the biggest mother effing hypocrite if I did the same thing.
Mm.
If I stopped showing up for my people, if I stopped leading them, if I stopped selling, stopped getting on the phone. Like I closed a $3,500 deal yesterday. Not because I need the money. I need to be sharp to give real-time advice to people. And I think that's super important. And a lot of people, they say they want to be leaders. That's fine, but we have to show people. We literally have to show people. If I recruit somebody into this business, I take it extremely personal. It's not about me. And I tell them like, hey, it's not about me right now. It's about you guys. So everything I say is going to steer you in the right direction. Everything I say is going to be good criticism to sharpen you up, to get your skill set developed to where you can sell at a high level. And I just get so fired up at that point. Like I come in here, a new guy comes in the office. I'm like, dude, I'm fired up. I'm yelling at him. He's yelling at me. I'm like, let's go, baby. Come on. And then we just get on the phones and talk to sweet Joe and Mary. And it's like, it's just all good.
I love it, dude. Dude, I love it, dude. This is a refreshing podcast, right now, this episode. I really appreciate what it is you're saying. I think a lot of people could take that mindset and win with it. But I think also some people could take that mindset and reset with that mindset. It's refreshing. And so it's no mistake why you're killing it. I think you've relayed that extremely well on this podcast. And I don't think, that was like, let me show you why I'm killing it. It's just, it's pouring out of you, and so I can see why you guys are growing at the rate you're growing at. And dude, I'm proud of you, man. I mean, it's impressive what you are doing. I mean, it is very impressive. You are really a beast, bro. And again, I know you don't want that credit, but you're leading leaders and you're developing new agents and you're recruiting agents and you're selling to show the model, and so who wouldn't? It's amazing what you're able to do with people and why people would want to work with you. I mean, that's all most people want, bro. They're looking for someone who will get in the trenches with them and roll up their sleeves and show them how how to do this thing. So, and I appreciate you taking time to share with us really a lot of golden nuggets, but just real life. And I think if more people can wear it like this, where it's not a requirement, it's what they do, then they have a much better shot of building something nice and big. So appreciate you, brother.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Yes, sir. God bless. Thanks, Bowen. Keep listening. This was a barn burner. Appreciate y'all.